Welcome back, everybody. It's another episode of Touched by a Horse. I'm your co-host, Chris Angel, and I'm here with your host today, Kelly Grell. Hello, Kelly.
Hello, Chris.
I love your
Here we go again.
You were so happy. Your energy is effusive. I love it.
Thank you. Takes one to know one.
Hey, right? A tribe knows their own. Hey, I'm excited for our conversation today because we're talking about coming from our heart, not our head. And I personally struggle with this one. I've struggled with this one for years. I can't wait to hear what you have to say about it. But
yes. Well, we were just saying a little earlier before we hit record that,
right.
You know, the horses are so healing and they're so magical. And as I said in my first interview, I have 13 horses, and we've this is my 5th year. I just celebrated my anniversary of having my Happy Success Ranch retreat. And horses are so great because they get it. They know to come from their heart and not their head. And they're always in the present moment. They're not worried about, oh goodness, I've got to pay those bills tomorrow, or I hope some hay comes tomorrow. They just live in the moment. And so that is the biggest lesson that horses can teach us, is to live in the moment and come from our heart and not our head. And when we are in the round pen or an arena working with the horse, especially with this equine gestalt coaching method that I'm getting certified in, and that Melissa Pierce, the owner and founder of Touched by Horse, Gestalt means wholeness, and it means to be in the present moment. So when you are working with a horse with this process and getting their healing and their therapy and their loving touch, they don't want to necessarily work with you unless you are in your heart. If you're coming from your head and you're thinking, oh gosh, I hope that horse comes over to me. Oh, I hope this horse will work with me. I've heard horses work with people, but what if I don't get this horse to work with me? And all that stuff. Or if you're thinking, I really don't want to bring up that thing that happened to me when I was in 8th grade, and I really don't want to bring that up, and I hope that they won't find out about this. And if your mind is just always running on all of that and you don't drop into your heart, the horse usually will just stand in the corner or just kind of be like, okay, when you get into your heart, I'll come over and connect with you solid, and I will teach you things that you need to know in this session. But until you're there, I'm not going to, I'm going to just stay over here because I need you in full contact with me.
So the horses actually don't get you to the present moment. The work begins once you get present.
Yes.
And you drop into your heart, then the horses can actually do the work with you.
Yes.
Is that right?
It's so magical. It is. And I love what Melissa Pierce says. She says, you will never forget an experience you have that is taught to you by a 1,200-pound animal. And we call them our partners.
Right. Yes.
But they are so impressive, and they just get it. They're so connected to the earth, and I say connected to God. And they just they know. If we will allow them to, if we will get into our hearts, they will connect with us and teach us lessons unlike anything. You could be 5 years in talk therapy with somebody, and you can do 2 sessions out with a horse in a round pen, and you'll end up learning more, getting more from it. And I love the saying, you leave it in the arena dirt, and then you leave from it, and you're just happier and more fulfilled and healed. And it's a magical experience.
Well, let me ask you this then, because I'm sold on the work that horses can do for people.
Yeah.
We've had like multiple episodes now among all these authors from Touched by Horse who have spoken to this very thing.
Yeah.
The thing that's there for me then is, if the work begins when I drop into my heart, how do I drop into my heart, right? Like, how do I do that? Because it's so easy to be in my head.
It is. And we as human beings, we're just taught that. I mean, we're taught to worry about our bill that's coming up next week and how we're going to pay it, and, all the different things that we have to worry about. And the main thing is to get yourself grounded. And that's what hopefully your coach, your equine gestalt coaching method coach will do with you, is get you connected and grounded and centered. and with me, as hyper as I am, it's a little harder for me. I have to get there and get my client there. And so, and then once you are centered and, you do some breathing exercises and really let your mind relax and like the little Frozen movie, let it go, just let things go and be in that moment. Then you can just, it's like a horse is like a magnet to you. They cannot help but come over. And the best advice I can give, because I tend to be in my head a lot too, is just to actually consciously take time to center yourself. I even have a timer on my phone now that comes on 5 times a day for me because I'm that wound up, and tells me to stop and breathe. Just breathe for a minute and really gather myself. And I think we can just be so fast paced in this high tech world, and it's just so important that we just honor ourselves enough to center ourselves and and come from that place of our heart and not our head all the time.
What does it feel like? Like when you get centered or when you drop into your heart, what's that feeling feel like? How do you know you're there?
It's a freedom. It truly is. You just feel, it sounds kind of trite, but you just feel carefree. It's like you're just so in the moment, and so you're almost not even aware that you're in there with a horse at that moment, which is so interesting but you can kind of feel the horse's breath on your arm or whatever, but you get so into being in the moment that I've done some in my training. I've done my 5th core, it's called, and I've got 3 more to go, and then I'll be certified. And in some of my experiences in the arena with the horses, I don't even know that other students are watching. I don't even know sometimes that a horse is there. It's like you just get so in tune with the piece of work that you're working on and yourself that you just flow, you just let it go.
It feels like as you described that to me, I'm thinking how many people listening to this are like, oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. Like to have my mind turn off where I'm not, it's, if you really get present to how much the chatter is happening, it's like, it's all the time. It's just always there.
Yeah. And it's, it gets back to that big buzzword that's happening right now called mindfulness. And it really is about being mindful of ourselves. And that's the greatness of this work is we're taught how to get our clients there. And then hopefully as they leave and have learned for an hour-and-a-half session or whatever you end up doing with them, they'll go home and take that with them. And I told you in our last episode that, horses teach us just, get it off your back. Don't take all that excess baggage home with you. Leave it in the arena dirt because that's where it belongs. It doesn't need to haunt you anymore. It doesn't need to control your life anymore. And we can all learn so much from horses.
Well, I think, okay, so the skeptic in me wants to push back a little bit because I'm like, how do I leave it there are times when I've gotten present, right? Yeah. And I'm like, okay, I'm now centered. I feel carefree. I've let it go, and then I move on in my life, and the thoughts come back in. Like, how do I leave it in the dirt?
Well, and that is the power of these sessions is that there's different things that the horse will do while you're in there that is so profound, and you just go, okay, this is the real deal. This is really happening. We can't make this up. We can't make a horse do this on Free Liberty, where this horse is, showing us things. Maybe there's a polarity pole in the round pen with you, and you're trying to decide, 2 things that are, one is let me do this, or the other one's completely opposite, and maybe I'll do this. Maybe let's say it was to move to another state, and then the other one, and the horse might physically push you over the polarity pole that's in the round pen with you, so showing you need to go to that other state. And this is going to change your life forever, and you may meet your significant other, or who knows what it ended up happening. But some of the lessons that those horses teach while you're in there are just, you're just go, wow, this is a message only for me, and it can only be, what this horse is telling me. And it's hard to explain unless you're actually in the arena with the horse. But I promise you, even my husband's been a little bit of a skeptic because he's kind of like Mr. Thinker, and he's really, really, you know, these are the way things that go. And he's just amazed by, you know, just the things he's seen our horses do with him and with just others. Even if we just have somebody out with their children meeting our horses, he'll be like, wow, did you see what that horse did? And I'm like, I know, it's just magical. And they're just so in tune to being able to heal us if we'll let them. And that's where, if you can let your skeptic go for a while and actually trust the process. That's what the slogan of Gestalt is just to trust the process. You'll just be amazed at the transformations. And I mean, it has healed me so much. Even if I never went on to be a coach, I have healed so much doing my personal work. That's the beauty of the Equine Gestalt Coaching Method under Melissa Pierce with Touch by Horse. We all do a 2-year intense program, and we work on ourselves big time. And we hopefully, by the time we're done, leave it all in the arena dirt and are able to coach.
It feels like, when you were talking about it, it made me think like there are big events that have us get stuck in our head, not in our hearts, or have us maybe have us be afraid to drop into our heart. And so we stay in our head, right? That when we work with a horse can transform that and move us and put that in the past, leave it in the dirt, so to speak. It sort of vanishes, right? Like the power, the hold that had on us disappears. And then there's that type of in our head about stuff. And then there's the daily little nagging, snarky stuff that happens. The mundane,
right? You know, all the to-do lists and all of that stuff. And that stuff is just life. I mean, we have to get through life and do our to-do lists and all that. But it also, you know, I will find if I am just wound up and have a million things going on, if I can just get out with my horses, I'll tell my husband, I'll say, I'm a new woman. And it doesn't even have to be that I ride them. And that's the beauty of these coaching sessions. We don't ride. We're just in the round pen with
the
horses. But it can just be being in the presence of them. It's the reason they use them for, you know, in prisons, they use them, they use horses for so much therapy in different arenas, because horses they just got it. They're just healers, big old healers.
That's so good. I love it. I feel like there is the part of living from our heart is I like it sounds really good. I'm like, oh, it sounds good. Who doesn't want to live from the heart? But like, what's really the benefit of living from our heart? Like what's the payoff?
Immediately when you said that, I was like, you know, what is the benefit of living from our heart? It is that we are more in our purpose, more in our calling, more doing our destiny. If we can get out of that, you know, just that almost a hamster on a wheel, where we just feel like we're just, you know, constantly spinning in our minds. So it's just a centeredness and a groundedness that just makes you feel better. It makes you feel more healed. And the horses can get us to that, along with a coach who's able to speak for them, because unfortunately they need us to help speak, which we love that. We love to partner with them.
I love that. So you said a hamster on a wheel, and I had the metaphor or the saying that is like a dog on a bone. Like for 17 years, I've been in business for 17 years. And I would say only in the last couple years do I feel like there's alignment with like what I'm doing and who I really am, what I'm here for.
That's beautiful.
And I feel like I could have saved a lot of time in life if I had dropped into my heart and been present to my purpose instead of so in my head trying to figure business out or trying to figure relationships out or figure life out. Like a dog on a bone, I went down that road in my head trying to figure it out. Like, I'll figure it out, right?
I'll figure this out if it kills me. Right. Yeah. And it's back to that saying of let it go and just trust the process. It doesn't, I even told a guy, friend who called one time, and he was having some troubles in his love life. And I said, the thing is it doesn't have to be hard. If it's hard, it's probably not the person for you. And it can flow and it can be easy and it can be wonderful and all those things. And so it's, and it's that way with life too. We don't have to make it so hard. And if we can come from our heart and not our heads all the time, and do our personal work and really get ourselves on the process and the path to healing, where it's going to be a winning ticket.
Who doesn't want that, right?
Who doesn't want that? That brings happiness and success.
Why do we make it so hard? Like, it's just that easy. Like, just people go get with a horse.
I swear that's what the horses are telling us. It's like, people, why are you making this so hard? Yeah.
For real. I mean, how beautiful that Happy Success Ranch Retreats would be. Like, I mean, it's such a great name because, I mean, that's
thank you.
There's a promise in the name of it, right?
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. And I told my husband when I was naming it, I said, and that way I want everybody to know that it's done with horses. You got to wear your cowboy boots because you're out there in a dusty arena.
That's right.
Oh, that's great. Well, and Chris, I did want to hold up this book if you don't mind.
Please. Yeah. I want to see it.
That's what this whole thing is about. I will try to let you see it. It's the Touched by a Horse Equine Coaching Stories, Volume 3 anthology, edited by our founder and owner of Touched by a Horse, Melissa Pierce. And my poem, The Horse in All Its Glory, is in it, and other amazing stories, healing, wonderful stories about horses and humans. And I just wanted to hold it up because it is so important, because that's what this whole interview series is about. Right. It's about healing with horses and this book, the third anthology.
I read one of the chapters there before we started this project, just to kind of get a sense of the work that you all are doing.
Yes.
I got chills. I read the chapter. I got chills. It was just like,
they're
wow.
Fabulous. Yeah, it is truly, you read these stories and they almost seem like they're not real, but they are real. And that is the beauty of working humans with horses and the healing that they can bring.
It reminds me of, and I imagine that Melissa is on this path or trajectory, but it reminded me of, in college, I read Chicken Soup for the Soul, or I read a story or two, right? And it's the same kind of a thing where you're like, I got chills and it really inspired me. And these stories, I feel, are similar to Chicken Soup for the Soul, where I mean, obviously it's a different angle because it's about horses.
Right.
And it felt, you said, you used the word magical. It did feel
very magical. Does. And the thing of it too is, I love how Melissa says, we are the voices for horses. And, their healing work, we partner with them to give them a voice. And what horses have done through us throughout all of the millions of years, the very first horses that were running around, and all the work they've done, and all the wars they've gone into, and all the things that, mining for gold, and everything horses have done for all of us throughout the years. And they were our only transportation for years and years. And now I just love that we can step back and not use horses, quote unquote, but partner with horses and show their magic and show their healing powers. And, and they've had it all along. And they're just, as you can tell, I have 13 of them. I love them. They are my passion and my purpose.
That's so good. Where are you again? You're in Oregon.
In Wilsonville. Yes, just south of Portland, 20 miles. We have 13 horses on 40 acres here, and I just live such a blessed life. And I told my husband, I said, happiness and horses. What could be better than that?
Right? Seriously, I love it. Well, give me. I want to hear. Yeah.
Okay. I was telling you that I'd love to read you just the kind of in the almost to the end of this this poem that I wrote. It's called "The Horse in All Its Glory," and I just wanted to read these few lines. Freedom exists by knowing and loving a horse. Don't only listen, hear. Don't only touch, feel, and don't only see, look deep. Horses will tell you everything. And horses will love you like no other love on earth. Just be in their presence and bask in the presence that horses give. And I just wanted to share that with you because that is how I feel about them. They are just so wonderful and such blessings in our lives.
It makes me want to come to Wilsonville and
come on down. You're only in Spokane.
I know. My mom lives in Portland. I'll have to drop down and visit Mom.
Oh, yeah. And I tell everybody, my horses give the best hugs. You don't have to take a retreat. Just come meet them.
That's so great. I love it. Well, Kelly, if people want to reach out to you, they want to come to one of your Happy Success Ranch retreats, or just connect with you. How do they do that?
Okay, so you can do it 3 ways. You can go to my website, happysuccessranchretreats.com. Be sure and put the S on the end, Ranch Retreats. And then you can reach out to me email, which is Kelly, Kellie, speaks, SPEAKS, happy, HAPPY @gmail.com. Or you can call or text me. I'm at 503-313-7962. And come on out and meet these beautiful healing horses. And they're very happy to.
I love it. I'm sure they are if they are around you. I love the partnership you have with them. Well, thanks for your energy. Thanks for your joy, the love that you're sharing through this camera. I love it. And
thanks.
So good.
Until
next time, Kelly, take care.
All right, you too. Thanks so much, Chris. Bye-bye.
Bye.